Hey, what's going on everybody? It's Jamie from Sharon at Sea. Hey, if you're keeping up with cruise news out there, you know that one of the hottest trends around are the cruise line private islands. Cruise lines are sinking a ton of money into upgrading and in a few cases building from scratch brand new private island destinations for their cruise ships and their passengers. Now I know these are fantastic options for people to go visit, but I can't help wondering, are all these new private islands going to end up ruining cruising? Let's talk about it right after this. Hey, really quick, if you're into cruise-oriented content on YouTube, we'd love for you to consider subscribing to the channel, hitting the notification bell so you always know when new content's coming out, like cruise vlogs and things like that. And make sure you check us out Monday nights on our Monday Night Live Cruise Chat show. All right, now let's get back to these private islands. Now, almost all the cruise lines out there have their own private island. They've been around for years, and they're some of the most popular destinations on any cruise itinerary. Now, in most cases, they're just small tropical oases, if you will, and gorgeous little spots to spend the day at the beach, relax, and really get a feel for like being on a deserted island. It's a pretty neat thing. But in the past few years, building up these private islands has been all the rage. Now, Disney's done it a little bit with Coco Cay, and most recently, Royal Caribbean put $250 million into Coco Cay and renamed it the Perfect Day at Coco Cay. I mean, not only is this a beautiful day at the beach for their passengers, but now we're talking about water parks, balloon rides, and anything else you can imagine to go along with an amusement park similar to, I don't know, Great Adventure or Six Flags. I mean, these cruise lines are creating ports that'll have a little bit of everything for their guests. We're talking water slides, we're talking zip lines, we're talking beaches, we're talking amazing huge pools. They provide you with food, drinks, I mean the whole 9 yards. It's like a one-stop shop as far as cruise destinations go. But I can't help but think back to when places like Walmart's, Target's, Home Depot's, Lowe's, when they all came out and became one-stop shops for people. And one thing that they all had in common was that they kind of crushed the little guy. You know, the small businesses locally, the mom and pop shops and things like that. And when I see these huge amusement park style private islands being built and hear about new ones on the horizon, I can't help but think what effect this will have on traditional cruising. Now, Sharon, Matthew, and myself have had the pleasure of seeing a couple of these private islands. We spent a couple of amazing days at Half Moon Cay on Carnival Cruises. And on our most recent Symphony of the Seas cruise with Royal Caribbean, we had a great day at the Perfect Day at Coco Cay. I mean, we vlogged about it and everything. But one of the things that we love most about cruising is getting to go to new Caribbean ports, exotic new locations we've never been to, learning a little bit about the area, the culture, the people, and seeing how the other half lives. You know, we take a lot away from our visits to different ports. You know, one thing that's meant a lot to us is being able to take our son Matthew to a lot of these different places and ports. You know, he's gotten to see what things are like for folks that might be a little less fortunate than us. And he's learned to appreciate everything that he has a little more. And we kind of feel like these are great life lessons. So I mean, yeah, we love amusement park style rides and water slides and cool stuff like that. And we're known to spend a day at a beach in a port as well. Maybe go to a resort and kick back by the pool for a few hours. But lately it seems like the big focus is on these private islands. I mean, when we were on Symphony of the Seas, one thing we did was we booked our next cruise. Part of one of their programs is that you can secure your next cruise while on board, and then you have a little bit of time to think about exactly which itinerary and which ship you want to sail on. And as we looked at the options for the Caribbean, which is one of our favorite places to cruise, we found that almost all the sailings were making a stop one way or the other at the Perfect Day at Coco Cay. I can't help but feel that kind of limits your options a little bit. When the cruise lines are going out of their way to stop at their own private island, that might make them not go to other locations that are fantastic destinations as well. And when the cruise lines stop going to these places, I feel like it could have a really bad effect on the economy, on the tourism there. And when those things happen, I think you run the risk of bad things happening in those areas. Crime rates go up, people don't have the same amount of money coming in, people aren't investing in the area anymore and things like that. I think it can have a real negative toll. And when the focus is on these private islands, I think folks are missing out on cultural and new experiences, which are some of the things that really are the foundation of cruising. I mean, when these ports have less business, you might see excursions and sightseeing things get shut down, and you'll see an increase in poverty levels, and they're already high in a lot of these places. I mean, some of the best excursions we've ever had are being able to take a ride and sightsee and learn about the areas, talk to someone who's local, someone who was born and raised in the area, and really get a feel for what it's like to be a resident of that particular island. You know, I worry that the greed factor might kick in a little bit. I mean, when we were on Perfect Day at Coco Cay, and listen, I'm not trying to bash on them. It's an amazing place, don't get me wrong. But they are kind of the leader in this whole trend and an uptick of private islands. But while we were there, we found things were a lot more pricey than they would be if we were at a traditional Caribbean port. I mean, everything from the potential for zip lining and things like that and different excursions to even the shopping. I mean, they had souvenirs there, which are the same souvenirs you'd get in any other Bahama or Caribbean location, but they were all higher in cost. Not to mention, most of these private islands are in the Bahamas, which are anywhere from 100 to 200 miles off the coast of Florida. I mean, it only takes a few hours to get there from Miami. And the cruise lines realize that they're going to use less gas, the ships can go at a slower pace, which has less wear and tear on them, and then they're going to avoid going to more southern locations in the Caribbean because they can make so much money just going to their own private island. Why bother going anywhere else? I feel like pretty soon you might start seeing half of the cruise itineraries out there to the Caribbean area just stopping at Key West, the Bahamas, and a private island. And I think for new cruisers, that's kind of a shame that they won't get to experience all that the Caribbean islands have to offer. Now I get it, I mean, this is just my opinion. And okay, I'll admit, a day on a cruise line private island is about 1,000,000 times better than a day sitting home here in Arizona. But these are just some of the things that I think about and I worry about a little bit. So I wanted to come on here, talk about it a little bit, and kind of get your guys' opinion and see what you think. Now you might be saying, okay Jamie, well what would you do? How would you fix this? Well, I'll tell you what, one thing that I might do is instead of sinking hundreds of millions of dollars into these private islands, I'd rather see the cruise lines take that money and put it into the infrastructure of some of the other traditional cruise ports. Now there are a number of ports you can go to where the cruise line has invested into the immediate port area. They've put shopping there, they've put maybe a quick beach stop there, something like that. There might be little pool areas. You know, I think of places like Costa Maya, Roatan in Honduras, Amber Cove in the Dominican Republic, and other places like that. But I'd like to see them work their way inland a little bit. I think it'd be pretty neat if they were to build up something on an island that would allow local folks to work there and prosper, build their economy, and when a cruise ship wasn't in port, they could let the locals enjoy what that place has to offer, maybe at a reduced rate, and I think that might really increase the quality of relationships that we have with some of those places as well. So like I said, I can't help but wonder if all these new private islands will ultimately begin to ruin traditional cruising. I mean, will water slides and wave pools replace rainforests and amazing cultural experiences? I guess we'll just have to sit tight and see what happens. But I'd love to hear what you guys think. Do you agree with me? Do you think about this kind of stuff? Are you into the amusement park style private islands that these cruise lines are creating? Or do you like more traditional cruising where you get to go to exotic places and locations? Make sure you let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you and hear your thoughts. And it's okay if you disagree with me, just remember, be nice. So thanks a lot for watching. Before you check out of the video, make sure you subscribe to Sharon at Sea if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you're always aware of new content coming out. Make sure you join us every Monday night for our Monday night live stream show where we chat all about cruising. Join us on Facebook at the Sharon at Sea Cruise Crew. And until next time, from myself, Sharon, Matthew, and everyone here at Team Sharon at Sea, we just want to say, again, thanks for watching and happy cruising.